You've had 3 recruiting classes since you've been at LSU. All 3 have featured a 5-star. Here's the latest in Cam Thomas. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Feeling
Tell me
good.
about Thomas. He looks like a stud on film.
He's a stud in person. He's just wired to score. One thing that's very, very underrated about his game is he led the Nike EYBL in free throw rate. And so, he had a better free throw rate than Collin Sexton, who obviously played at Alabama and was a tremendous player and a top 10 draft pick with Cleveland. And Sexton was as good as I've seen at getting fouled on the AAU circuit, and Cam had a better overall free throw rate than Collin Sexton did. So, that's why I tell Cam all the time. I told him this in recruiting. His game's recession-proof because he's always going to be able to score a bunch of points because he can get to the free throw line. And if you get fouled in high school, you get fouled in AAU, you're going to get fouled in college, you're going to get fouled in the NBA. That's one of those things like rebounding and block shots that just travels no matter where you go. You're just going to be able to draw fouls. And so, when you're scoring 8 to 10 points a game at the free throw line, you don't have to work as hard on some of the other areas to be able to score. So he's just an elite scorer. He's wired to score, and he's got some incredible shots in his arsenal. Ways able to get the ball off, and ways able to move the ball. And so we're very, very excited about him. We knew going into the recruiting class, our biggest task was going to be able to find somebody to help us replace Skylar Mays, and this is who we honed in on. This is who we zeroed in on, and we are very, very excited he's going to be with us.
Thomas led the Nike EYBL circuit in scoring, averaging 29.5 points a game. He also ranked number 1 in field goals made and was in the top 10 in three-pointers made. So come on down from Chesapeake, Virginia, another 5-star in Cam Thomas, down to LSU basketball. What do you make of your current offense right now as you get the win on Saturday versus Nichols, 75-65?
Well, we could use Cam now. No, we've just got to clean up the turnovers. We talked about it. We've talked about it with our team, and we've broken it down, and we know the areas where we've got to get better. And I got to do a better job as the coach of putting them in better positions and having better movement and shortening our passes and have our spacing a little bit better. And we've just got to complete passes because we're still averaging over 80 points a game, and we're turning the ball over, about 1 in every 4 times down the court, basically. We're turning the ball over.
Wow.
So we've got to clean that up and get better there. If we do that, I think that'll solve a lot of our issues as a team.
It seems like tonight, University of Maryland, Baltimore County is a stiff test for that when you look at the way that they defend and the way that they force turnovers. What's the challenge that they bring in tonight?
They're top 20 in the country in turnovers forced, so they're very, 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 very good. They force a lot of turnovers. They play very, very solid defense. They've got good players. Rogers, their point guard, is extremely, extremely good. Our fans will enjoy watching him. He's 5'2", but
wow.
he can really, really play. His father was a tremendous player at George Washington. His father's in the Hall of Fame at George Washington. Back in the 90s, his dad was just a really, really good player, and he's the same way. They've got a pick and pop 4-man 12 who's a good player as well, and some dangerous wings and who can make some threes. So we got to do a good job of painting Rogers and guarding the 3-point line, and they're going to make us work against their defense. They really get back in transition. We're not going to be able to score as easily as we have been in transition, and so we're going to have to move the ball side to side against their defense. We're going to have to cut hard. We're going to have to get the ball in the paint. We're going to have to spray the ball out. We're going to have to play off 2 feet because they sit in there and take charges. So it'll be a good test for us as we're trying to clean up some of those turnover issues.
I'm talking to LSU men's head coach Will Wade here on Off the Bench. Coach, what's the status of Marlon Taylor right now?
Well, he's going to be out for a little while. I think we've kind of reevaluated him, and we got to make sure we do what's best for him moving forward, and also what's best for our team. So It's going to be at least another 2 or 3 weeks. If I were guessing, could be a little bit longer than that. But hopefully we'll have him back after the exam break for our team. So that'd put us at the middle of December, about 3 or 4 weeks from now. I think that'd be a realistic timeline for him. But we need him back. There's 3 or 4 plays a game. He's the only guy on the court who can make them. We're missing something with our team without Marlon, and so we need him back sooner rather than later. And hopefully this will allow him to come back and allow him to come back close to as healthy as he can be, so he can play his game and do what he does.
The program really broke out last year under your direction and winning the conference. And you mentioned it yesterday, kind of going from the hunter to the hunted. Do you change your message in coaching? Do you let the veterans on the team take care of that stuff in the locker room?
No, there's not much really to change. Like I said yesterday, I don't think people remember who won it last year. This is still a league that's, at the end of the day, we're still LSU basketball, and still a league that runs around Kentucky and Florida and some of those guys that have had sustained success. And really, it's our job to create that sustained success. We just haven't had that here. And that was the exciting part about coming here, is that we have an opportunity to create that and to be consistent. And so I think that's really what we're focused in on. And hey, let's win as many games as we can and be in the hunt and see where we stand coming down the stretch in SEC play. But we've got a long way to go before there. But you look at it just across the SEC. There's a lot of teams that are still trying to form their identity and figure out who they've got, what they've got, how good they can be. And so I think we're not in much different a spot than everybody else, and now it's just a race to see who can do that quickest, who can clean up their areas of concern quickest, who can put their guys in the best position, who can figure out their rotation quickest. I think now that's where we are, and hopefully we can figure things out like we did last season.
I've been pretty impressed with the way that Emmett's handled his role. Here early on, he had 12 and 11 for you, a double-double on Saturday. You've asked him to come off the bench a little bit. You've asked him to do different things. How has Emmett responded here in year 2?
Oh, he's just so much further along with his maturity and how he thinks the game and how he works. I've been very, very impressed with how he's prepared. He's watching extra film. He's doing the extra things that he needs to do to prepare himself and to give himself the opportunity to play well. And now it's about consistency. He's got to consistently do it, and he's shown in his preparation that he's been consistent. And I told him, I said, not every game's going to go perfect, but if you keep preparing the right way, doing what you're supposed to do in your preparation, I'll live with the results on game day. When you don't do what you're supposed to do in preparation, and I feel like there's been shortcuts taken, it's a little harder for me to live with what happens on game day. But right now Emmett's been working extremely hard, preparing extremely well, preparing extremely hard. And he's been very, very locked in, and we've got to keep him. We've got to keep him on that path. You
confident in your rotation, or more confident?
I feel good about 6 of them. We need to. And then obviously Marlon. But we need to find. We got 3 or 4 others. We keep trying them out, and we got to figure out. We got to find 2 of them that are ready to go. And so we've got some work to do there. They're good players. They've shown it in practice, and we've just got to step up and show it in games. James Bishop's somebody that really is. He's a very, very good player, and for whatever reason, we just hadn't been able to get him going. I guess I hadn't been able to get through to him. We need him to get going. He's somebody that can help with the turnover issues. He can handle the ball. He can get in there and he's instant offense. He's somebody that can score. He could go on a little scoring barrage. And then Andre Hyatt's also somebody. He just shoots. He makes everything in practice. He makes everything when we shoot. And he's done some really good things in games, but he's got to step up and not get some shots and help us there, because that's what he does. And I think Cooper's did a good job. We played him against Nichols, and we're going to continue to play him a little bit. I thought he did a nice job and tipped some balls and rebounded, did what he really does. And then Marshall's somebody that we can count on as well. But we got to get 2 of those guys where we feel like they're firmly, ready to play at a high level. Because we've got some big time games coming up here, and we've got we got to be able to count on those guys and trust those guys in the rotation.
It's game day. Boot up.
Let's
Tigers
go.
are in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center tonight at 6 o'clock versus UMBC. The Friars come in undefeated on the season. It'll be tip off at 6 o'clock.
Friars?
Is that not right?
They're the Retrievers.
Retrievers.
We're gonna put those dogs down.
That's right. See?
Is that
No.
my bad? My
See you
bad.
then.
My bad,
Thank
my
you,
bad.
Coach. Thank you for your time.